All right, so we've got the recording started. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and sign in. Can you guys see the screen okay? It should be the non-logged in homepage where you see the username and then the password. This is where you would log in. And then if you don't have an account, you can also click register now, this little button right here. This will allow you to register for a free trial. Just a second. All right, so you'll know you're logged in because you'll see this page. You'll see it says welcome, your name. You'll see your profile, manage account, sign out, dashboard, news and alerts, restrictions, e-visa and help. All of these are clickable buttons. The help tab is where you can find any webinars that were recorded. You can find any articles that might help you navigate the site and some quick start guides as well. And I'll go through a little bit of these too. So the news and alerts tab, this is basically where you would go to see our recently updated destinations, recently updated hotels, travel alerts powered by IntelliGuide Travel, Travel Age West blogs, Travel Weekly blogs, and Travel Pulse blogs. Those are our sister products. The restrictions, this is powered by Sherpa. This is one of our newest partners where you can see all of the restrictions due to COVID or any travel restrictions for going from a certain location to a certain location. So it tells you everything that you will need. E-visa is basically where you would go if you needed to purchase any e-visas for your travels or for your clients' travels. So to get back to the dashboard, which is the home page, you would simply just click dashboard over here to the top left. And then your dashboard is where all your trip plans and travelers will live. So if you're ever going to be working with a new traveler and you want to go ahead and put them within travel42 so you can start sending them information, all you have to do is click create new traveler here. So you'll create new traveler. You'll see the only things required are the first name, last name, and email address. So you do have to put that information in. You do have some additional information you can add, such as the address, phone number, their contact information, and then any of their preferences. I always tell agents to go and put as much information as you can if you have the time. I know you're very, very busy, but this will allow you to plan for trips in the future. If you put family info such as birthdays, anniversaries, you can always reach back out to them and say, hey, I know a birthday's coming up. Let's go ahead and get you a trip planned. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out of that. And you'll notice within travel42, there's a lot of these little triangles. This is to minimize or expand. So if this takes up too much space on your dashboard and you kind of want to minimize it for right now, all you have to do is click on that triangle and it minimizes it. If you click on the triangle again, it will expand and then you can see all your trip plans or travelers, whichever one you're trying to minimize or expand. So there's a couple of different views. You might notice your dashboard looks a little different than mine, which is totally fine. I have mine set to a list view. That means that I see everything listed by name, client, the travel dates, the date it was last modified by me, or the travel agent, excuse me, last delivered and last viewed. So that would be last delivered to the client and last viewed by the client. You can also see it in a grid view. This will show you more of the pretty pictures. That way you can see the name of the trip plan and a nice little picture on that trip plan. But I like to have mine as the list view. Now from here, if you log in and you've already created a trip plan that you want to print or send for your clients, you can do that right on this page. You'll see 3 little dots over here to the left. If you click on those 3 little dots, your action items will pop up. If you want to work on that trip plan again, you can click open. If you need to edit any details on that trip plan, you can edit details, view the travelers associated with that trip plan. If you wanted to send or print the trip plan, you could by clicking send or print. We also have this new feature called copy URL. What that basically does is it copies the URL of the trip plan. So if you want to put it in, say, an email of your own or in some sort of document that you're going to be emailing to your client, they'll be able to pull up that trip plan by clicking on the URL that you share with them. If you want to duplicate the trip plan, or if you want to delete the trip plan. All of your trip plans are saved unless you physically delete them. That's why I always like creating a trip plan. It's super easy to do and it saves all your information. So if, say, your client comes back and has no idea what you sent them, you can go in, find their trip plan, and resend it to them if needed. So what we're going to start out with today is by creating a trip plan. So I'm going to go right here and click Create New Trip. You'll notice you have to put a trip plan name. That's the only thing that has a star beside of it. That's the only thing that's required. So if you are rushing to get this done, the only thing you have to do right away is create the trip plan name. So let's go ahead and do, let's do Jamaica today. Especially prepared for, say you had a group that was traveling and you wanted it to be, say, the Whirly Family Vacation, but you were going to be sending it to multiple people, and you don't want it to show up just as one person's name. So you're going to put in here, especially prepared for the Whirly Family. Travelers, you can input multiple travelers here. So if you already have your travelers saved within the travelers section, simply type in the name. There it goes. It pops up right there. There's my traveler. If you do not have the traveler saved and you need to add a new traveler, you can do that here as well. So if I wanted to add a new traveler, I would simply click this plus sign, and then my new client information would pop up. I would then put in my first name, the client's first name, the client's last name, and the client's email address. You have those same features we saw earlier, the additional and the preferences. But you don't have to make this very detailed right away. You can do it quick and easy just to get it sent out to them. So I'm going to go ahead and put myself in here because I am the traveler. The suggested retail price, mine is blank because I do have it set as blank in my profile. And I'll show you where you can set that shortly. If I wanted to add a suggested retail price, I could. If I wanted to put, let's say, what this information would cost for your clients if they were to look it up on their own. It could be $25. I think that's the generic amount that we have it set at, but you can change that price here to reflect. If you don't put a suggested retail price, it will not show up. So I'm going to leave mine blank for this time. If you know the departure and the return date, you can input that there or enter the duration of the trip. If they're going to be gone for a certain amount of days, you can put that there. As I said, everything on here is optional except for the trip plan name. The comments are displayed to the client. So if there's anything you want to put here, maybe the cost of the trip or some well wishes for the trip, you can put that right here under comments. Trip notes are not displayed to clients. So that would be just for your eyes only. Next step is the layout. This is optional. This is some things you can add or remove from the trip plan, just depending on your preferences. So you'll notice cover page is completely checked. I cannot uncheck this right now. In order to not show the cover page, I would have to remove the business card. The business card is your information. So that's your headshot, your logo, your first name, your last name, your email, whatever contact information you have saved within your profile. That's called your business card. Think of it like a physical business card, anything you would find on a business card. So if I uncheck business card, cover page can now be removed. Now I can just take that cover page away completely. It'll just have the trip information. Now, the only thing that is stored on a cover page is a cover page photo, the trip plan name, and then your business card. So I do like to have the cover page photo. I think it makes it look a little bit more professional in my opinion. So I'm going to go ahead and add that and then add back in my business card. Think of the trip summary as the table of contents. So if you remove the trip summary, they're just going to see the contents. They're not going to see, okay, Jamaica is on page 1, Ocho Rios is on page 3. They're not going to see that information. They're just going to see the content that you're sharing with them. If you want to show images in online view, which is the view that you send to them via email, check this box. If you want images shown in the PDF view, the printed version, you would check this box. A lot of agents will remove the images in PDF view, especially if maybe they have a black and white computer or they don't want to take up too much space on the paper. They'll take away images in PDF view, but I always recommend to leave it in online view. So for now, I'm just going to keep everything checked. If you have an image for the cover page that you want to share, you want to add to this trip plan, you can do that here. You can upload an image or link an image. So you can add an image from the internet that you found. You can add an image from, say, your computer that you've actually taken. Maybe you've saved a image to your pictures on your computer. You can upload those here. If you do not upload an image, that's totally fine. You do not have to. We'll pick one from the content you've added to your trip plan. So you'll have an image one way or another. So next, our only option is to create a new trip. I'm going to go ahead and click this button right here, and it will take us to our workspace. I always tell people to think of this like your folder. This is the folder that I just created, Jamaica. So far, I have no destination guides, no hotels, no cruises, no see and do, no custom places. Once I start adding information, then you'll start seeing numbers populate here besides the items that I've added. So first, I'm going to start by searching for Jamaica, which is the destination guide that I'm looking for. 2 ways to pull this up. If you know you want Jamaica, simply click here. If you know you want Montego Bay, so on and so forth. You have a lot of options here you can look at. So if you know what specific destination or hotel, you can click on it in the drop down. Otherwise, click on this magnifying glass or the enter button, and that will take you to all of the search results. So now I have 24 destination guides, 238 see and do, which could be points of interest or restaurants, 258 hotels, and 11 cruises. So first, you can add information here by just clicking add item. So if you're wanting this to be super quick, let's get this done. I need to get this sent out. Click add item. What will pop up is a template that you can choose from. So for me in my profile, I have the full template saved, which means it checks everything within that destination guide. If I wanted to remove something, say I didn't want history or snapshot or potpourri, I would simply just uncheck those items. So now I do not have those listed within my trip plan. Anytime a check is beside an item, it has been added to your trip plan. So let's go ahead and check all these again. And then I'm going to show you the templates that we do have. So the full template was the one that I had. That's where all of the items are checked. All of the items are added into the trip plan. You also have a business template, which you'll notice unchecked some of the items. This is going to be for a business traveler. Then I have my cruise traveler. Then I have my leisure traveler. So I think for this trip plan, I want to use the leisure template. So once I've had that added, I'm looking through just to make sure everything looks okay. You'll notice there's some more of these little arrows over here that you can look at to expand the information. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save. So once I hit save, that item has been added into my trip plan. And then I can move on to the next item. So let's hit load more on the destinations. I'm going to click load more. And then I'm going to find Ocho Rios, which is the destination that I'm wanting to really look for. That's where they're going to be staying. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to click view details. You'll also notice these send and print buttons here. Don't worry about those just yet. I'm going to show you what those are used for once we're done with this trip plan. So I'm going to go ahead and click view details on Ocho Rios. That'll pull up my Ocho Rios destination guide. Now, if we clicked on the Jamaica destination guide, it would have looked pretty much the same as this one does. You'll have all your checked items over to the left, and then you can also check items over to the right. But since I clicked view details, now I can see exactly what's in that. And I also have that same destination template up here at the top. So if I get into the destination guide and I decide, I think I want to add a template again, all I would have to do is click apply destination template and then do exactly the same thing. So if you don't want to read through all this information, if you just want to quickly click the items, you can do that as well. But for this one, I want to read through. So I definitely want to add the photo gallery. I think I'm going to add the introduction, highlights. This is just some highlights within this destination guide. I'm going to add those. Let's add geography. I'm not going to add in history, but that is an option that you can add. Port information, that would be more for cruising travelers, which this one is not. So I'm not going to add in that one or short excursions. Potpourri, I think, is a very important one to add. It's got little tidbits of information about the destination and then hotel overview. So see and do is my next tab. There's two ways I can get to the see and do tab. I can click down here if I don't want to scroll back to the top, or I can go back to the top and simply click see and do tab up there at the upper left. That pulls up all my see and do information, which includes sightseeing, recreation, beaches, nightlife, anything and everything point of interest wise will be featured under that see and do tab. So I'm going to add in all the sightseeing items. I'm going to add in recreation, nightlife, performing arts. And remember, as I said earlier, anytime I put a checkbox in something, that means that it has been added and saved into my trip plan. I'm not going to add in spectator sports, but I am going to add in shopping. And let's scroll down to itinerary just to take a quick look at that. There's a lot of information in this one. So itinerary, we do have some pre-planned itineraries within Travel42. So if you're trying to figure out exactly what your client wants to see and do on specific days of their trip, you might notice that itinerary down at the bottom. Plan A, Plan B, Plan C, then they have some day trips, local tours. So this might be helpful if you're wanting to just quickly plan their trip and get them to a nice itinerary while they're there. So I'm going to go ahead and add in the day trips. Let's go ahead and add in these itineraries as well. Local tours, I'm not going to add all of them, but let's add in this one. And then we'll go to the dining tab. So the dining is going to be the next tab, and I'm going to click it down at the bottom so I don't have to scroll back up. So here we have dining. I have my dining overview. I'm not sure why this isn't going away. Let's go back. Something must be going on with my cache and cookies. Anytime you have an issue with the site and say you want something to function a little bit better, what I suggest is clearing your cache and cookies in your browser. That's what I always recommend. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. I'm going to hover over history and click history, and then I'm going to clear browsing data. That won't clear any of your passwords or anything like that. It just, your browser always tries to remember things for you. It's to help you out, to make things a little bit easier for you. So sometimes it gets a little jumbled and a little backed up. So clearing the cache and cookies in your browser will help that. So let's go ahead and exit, and we'll sign out, and then we'll get back in. And then we'll pick right back up where we left off. But that's the first step. Anytime something goes wrong with any browser, and this isn't just for Travel42, this could be for any website, anything you do within the internet, just remember the cache and cookies. So I'm going to go ahead and click the three little dots over here, and then we're going to open to get back to our trip plan. So there we go. I still have my destination guides, Ocho Rios in Jamaica, and 42 see and do items. So now I need to get back to Ocho Rios because that's where I was. So I'm going to go ahead and click Ocho Rios, which will pull me back to my destination guide. And now we can get back to the dining tab. So dining was where I left off. I'm going to go ahead and click dining overview. I always add local and regional. Most people want to see everything that's the local and regional when they're going to a destination that they're unsure of. And you'll also notice within Travel42 some of these items that have a gold ticket with a star beside of it. Those are our highly recommended items. So definitely add those in. Then we have all the different cuisines: American, Asian, Italian, continental, and seafood. We'll add in that seafood, and then we'll go to the next tab, which is safety. So personal safety, let's add in everything into this tab. So personal safety, health, and the disabled advisory. Tips is my favorite tab because it has do's and don'ts. I highly recommend adding this for any destination, especially one that you might not be sure of as an agent and one that you say your clients might not be sure of as travelers. So this will have things, don't be surprised by the language. The locals speak in a sometimes confusing mixture of English and Patois. Do wear sunscreen even on overcast days. Don't wander off the beaten track with unknown individuals. Just little things like that that might actually help while you're at that destination. Geostats, which is passport information, telephone codes, voltage requirements, money. Let's go ahead and add in that one, and weather and what to wear. Communication, I don't think we need that one, but that if you did, You would have internet access, mail packages, mail and package services, newspaper and magazines, telephone. We'll do all transportation items. And then tourist offices, I like to add those as well. All right, so next tab is the events tab. We're going to add that one in there too. And since they're going to be staying in Ocho Rios, I'm going to go ahead and go to the hotels tab here. So I'm going to click hotels. Okay, so this is how all of our hotels list. You have a couple of different viewing items here. So if I wanted to view it on a map, see where all of these are listed, I could do that here and then zoom in or zoom out as needed. If I wanted to see a list view, which will kind of show you a little bit more information, I could see list view over here to the left. So you have 3 different viewings when you're looking at hotels. So I'm going to go back to the grid view because I do like the images. So if you want to add the hotel, you can literally click add item here and it'll add that hotel. You can add multiple hotels for your clients to pick and choose which one they want to stay at, or you can click view details and that will pull up similar to what we did with the destination guide, but it'll pull up the hotels so we can take a look at what's going or what's added within that hotel. So with under the overview tab, you have your basic information, which also includes COVID-19 policies. That's a new feature we've added. You have your photo gallery and then booking info. The booking info is never included, so you can't add that one to your trip plan. So I'm going to go ahead and definitely add in the basic info in the photo gallery. Then we have our star review. The star review, like I said earlier before we began, the star review is literally what our reviewers see when they go to this destination. They travel to these places, or some even live in these places, and they write down exactly what they see. Location and history, property overview, accommodations, non-standard amenities, advisor notes, and then comparable properties. So I'm definitely going to add that one in there. Then you have your property, room amenities, hotel facilities, restaurants on site, meeting facilities, recreation, rates and policies, location. I'm definitely going to add the room amenities, hotel facilities, restaurants. I don't need meeting facilities. Let's do recreation. I'll let my clients know the rates and policies, so I'm not going to include that one, but I am definitely going to include the location. And then we also have a map. So if you want to add the map in there, you can do that as well. So your clients know exactly where the hotel is in relation to where Jamaica is and all that they're going to be seeing. So let's go back to the Ocho Rios Jamaica hotels. You'll notice up here, some of the things that you search for will start to populate. This way, if you wanted to go back, you don't have to utilize the back button on your browser. Now you can do that and nothing will happen. Everything's still saved, but this way you can get back to certain points of where you were without having to exit the site or do anything outside of the site. So I'm going to go back to Ocho Rios Jamaica hotels. We've already added Couples Sanssouci and then Couples Tower Isle, or excuse me, and then Jamaica Inn. Couple Tower Isle, I'm going to add that one as well. Hermosa Cove Resort. Oh, and you have filter up here. I should have mentioned that. You can filter hotels. So if you click filter hotels, you can filter by star rating. You can show only hotels with a review. You can sort by amenity rating. You can search by hotel name or the first letter of the property, say you don't remember the name, the chain hotel rep, the hotel size, and then you have some preference, location, type, anything you want to search for, you can do that within the filter bar. But I'm going to go ahead and add in these, Moon Palace Jamaica, and then Ocho Rios. Okay, perfect. So I think we've got everything added. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back into my trip plan. I've gotten everything that I want within that trip plan. So I'm going to click Jamaica trip. That's what I titled my trip plan. So I know that's going to take me back into the trip plan. So now we are at the collect tab within my trip plan. You'll notice you have 3 different tabs now: collect, organize, preview. Collect is where you collect all your information. You can edit what's been added, you can add more, you can delete. This is kind of where you would compile all the information that you're going to send to your client or print for your client. So I have 2 destination guides now. I have 50 see and do And then I have 6 hotels, and that see and do can include dining, points of interest, all of those things that I added within the destination guide. That's included in the see and do. And then I have my 6 hotels. So now I can go in and organize if I wanted to. But just to make it known, if this is all you want to do and you want to send this to your clients right now, just with the information, it's going to look great. It's going to have the cover photo. It's going to have all those pretty pictures in it. You just simply need to click this little circle up in the upper right corner and click send or print. You do not have to do anything else. If you want to make this quick and easy, send and print the information and you're good to go. This trip plan is saved. If you want to do a little bit more and say organize this within an itinerary, you can. So you have 2 options under organize. You have change order and you have schedule. So change order, you can only do one of these. You can either change the order or put it on a schedule. So if you wanted to change the order, that means literally you're changing the order. So if I wanted Ocho Rios to show up first, there we go. I just dragged and dropped it. If I wanted their hotel to show up first, I just drag and drop it to the top. Now that's going to change the order that they're going to see the information, whether that be in the printed version or in the sent version. But I do like having Jamaica first. So I'm going to do Jamaica, then Ocho Rios, then my hotels. And what a lot of agents will do is if you're sending this to your client and say you're letting them pick and choose the properties that they're going to stay at or the property that they're going to stay at, a lot of agents will put their favorite on the top. So if say you wanted Moon Palace to show up first before Couple Sansuji, just drag it up to the top and then you can change the order of how they're going to see those properties. So of course, the first one that they come across, they're going to be wowed by that one and they won't even want to look at the rest of them. They're going to want to stop there. So schedule, we'll click on that tab just so I can show you what it looks like. It's pretty much just like the legacy site was. So this isn't really any different than that. So if you use the legacy site, this is going to be very similar. So what you're going to do is you're going to literally drag the item that you want to show up on the calendar and drop it down. Now, this is optional. You do not have to put it on an itinerary to send or print. This is just something optional that you can do. They're going to be in Jamaica, let's see, up until, we'll say Sunday. And then you'll notice down here at the bottom, my trip itinerary has updated. So now from Tuesday to Sunday, they're going to be in Jamaica. If I wanted to add the hotel that they're going to be staying at, you can do that as well, or you could stop right at Jamaica. You can even get down to adding in restaurants to the itinerary on the specific time that they're going to be going to that restaurant. And there was something that I forgot to mention within the collect tab. So I'm going to quickly go back just to show you what custom place is. You'll see that over here to the left. Custom place, if there's something within, or if there's something you want to add to this trip plan that we do not have in Travel42, say it's a hotel, their air travel, their train travel, an Airbnb, whatever it may be, you can add a custom place by clicking this little plus sign over here to the right. Enter the website URL. The name of that custom place and the place type are the only 2 things that are required, but you can add all this extra information as well. If say there's a website for that place and you wanted to copy and paste the information, this information is formatable. So you can bold, you can do bullet points, you can make paragraphs, you can insert a hyperlink. The custom place, just remember, is anything that's not within Travel42 that you want to add. All right, so back to organize. So I've gotten all of my information organized. I've put Jamaica from Tuesday, May 17th to Sunday, May 22nd. Next, we can go to preview. As I said, optional. Preview is just literally what you're able to see, what your clients are going to see when you send them the trip plan. So here is my cover page. It's got my image, my Travel42 logo, that's my logo, presented by me, Larissa, at Travel42 with my office phone number and my email address, so your clients know how to get a hold of you. If you log on, or if you get to preview and you decide, oh, I really don't like that image, I want to use one of my own, simply go up here to this little circle and click Edit Details, go to Layout, and then you can add a photo in. So if you don't like the one that we've chosen, totally fine. You can put one in yourself that you might like a little bit better. So for now, I'm just going to keep this one. because it does have a beach, and that's one of my favorite things in the whole wide world. So next, I'm going to go to the next just to see what's next. We have our trip summary. So you'll notice all of the dates that I've added, or all of the things that I've added to the calendar will show up first on the specific dates, and then the unscheduled items will show up next. So I'm going to go ahead and click next. You'll notice we have the Jamaica destination guide pop up first. And while you're reading, you'll notice at the very bottom, there's a next to, so you don't have to scroll up to the top to click next. So I'm going to go ahead and click next. Then we have Ocho Rios, that destination guide. And then we have our hotels as well. So now everything looks pretty good. I've got everything added that I want to. Now I'm going to go ahead and click send. So this is where you need to make sure whoever you are sending this trip plan to needs to be listed as a traveler within travel42 under your profile. So mine definitely is, but say yours wasn't. Say you started searching for your traveler and nothing's popping up. All you need to do is create new traveler. We do recommend only having one traveler per email address. So I would say if you're going to add yourself as traveler, totally fine. A lot of agents do send the trip plans to themselves first, and then they'll send it directly to the client. Totally fine. But when you create a traveler, create one for yourself with your first name, your last name, and your email address. The subject it can be changed. So if you don't like what your subject says, you can change it here and delete it and put something else. If you want to put a body for the email, you can do that here as well. And then you can preview. But if you're wanting to email it, you simply send the email. And that's literally what this looks like. So once you view the email, it's going to look just like the preview tab. The print download version is a little bit different. So I'm going to pull that up just so you can see. It's a little more condensed. So this one is more for printing, or if you wanted to save it to your computer for, say, a future traveler or even the traveler that you're working with. It's a little bit more of a condensed version of the trip plan. I've added a lot of information, so this one might take just a little bit. There we go. So now my trip plan popped up down here, so I can go ahead and open that one. So now, and this is where you'll notice when we were in the edit details, you had the option to remove pictures from the trip plan or from the PDF trip plan. So this is where you might want to look at that. So if you say, oh, these pictures are taking up too much space, or I don't want to print the pictures, you can go back into the trip plan and just simply edit details and remove those images and then download it again. But this is the downloaded trip plan. So it's a little more printer friendly. So you can print this or save it to your computer. You'll notice it has 47 pages. So if you wanted to print that, wonderful. You could do front and back. Or if you have a lot of paper, you can print them all separately. But totally up to you. This opened up another tab, so I don't have to worry about clicking the back button. I just simply go to the other tab, which is my travel42. So I'm going to go ahead and click back on, first, almost forgot, most important. Since I am done with this trip plan, I'm not working on it anymore. I want to start on something brand new. I need to click this circle up here and click save and close. This will allow travel42 to know that you are done with this trip plan and you want to start on something else. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and it takes me back to the dashboard. So now I'm going to show you really quickly what those send and print buttons were for that we saw earlier. So let's go ahead and click Rome. I'm going to search for it. If I wanted to go to Rome, Italy, I would simply click here and it would literally pull up the Rome, Italy destination guide. Same for the hotels, same for the cruises and the see and do. But I want to look at the search results. So I'm going to click search over here. So filter your results. If you know you want to look for hotels, you don't have any interest in destination guides right now, you just want to see the hotels, simply click on the hotels tab. You'll see the same filters that we had are now over here to the left. So if I wanted to see just the 5-star reviews or just the 5-star hotels that have a review, I would click there. And now that's the only hotels that I see. So if I want to quickly send a hotel to my client just so that they can see it and know where they're going to be staying at, or if you're trying to convince them to book that property, all you would need to do is click send or print. Clicking send, that'll send all the hotel information. So let me show you. I'm going to click view details. That will send all, oh, excuse me, that will send the basic info, the photo gallery, the star review, the property, and the map. So if I go back to search Rome, go back to my hotels, and I want to send this one, all of that information is going to be quickly sent to your client. So anytime you see a standalone send or print button, that is a way to quickly send or print a hotel, a whole destination guide. So you can do it both for hotels and for destinations. So you'll notice send and printer here too. If I wanted to send Rome destination guide, it'll send the whole guide. It won't take into account any selections or anything like that. It'll send the whole thing. So that's what those send and print buttons are for. And let's go back to our dashboard because I have one more thing to cover, and that is the profile information. So if I click up here and go to profile, manage account, I'm not going to get into that one because that is going to be different for everyone. Whether you're just a user under a group account, if you are the account administrator, you're going to see different things. So for sure, you're definitely going to see your user ID and password. If you need to change your user ID and password at any time, that can be done under manage account. So think of that one as like where credit card information is stored, where your password information is stored. Anything that is secure is going to be stored under manage account, because once you click there, you will have to log in again just to make sure that it's you and not somebody trying to get your information. But I'm going to go ahead and click on profile. So business card. This was what I mentioned earlier. This is your contact information. So I will come back to this page, but you'll notice this is my office phone number and this is my email. So if you have any questions after this and want to ask, please feel free to shoot me over an email or reach out to me via phone. If I don't answer, please leave a voice message so I can follow back up with you. But that way you can get in touch with me. So business card, literally all the information that you need for your clients to contact you, your headshot and your logo. You can remove and edit those as often as you need to. Preferences, client view, the options to include business card, include cover photo, and include trip summary. So if you want for all trip plans, the business card to never be included, simply uncheck it and save. Going forward on all your trip plans, that will not be checked off when you go into creating the trip plan. I personally like to keep everything checked because if I'm creating a trip plan, all I have to do is simply uncheck it if I don't want it to show up. But rarely do I not want my business card to show up. The suggested retail price, that's what we saw earlier as well. That's the price of this information as you send it to your clients. I think some travel agents also use it as kind of like the cost of that trip altogether. But I know there's a more formal way to do that than just the suggested retail price, which is why I take it off. I don't even like to put the price in there. Agent comments header and report comments. So if you want a certain comment to appear on all your trip plans, just put the header and then whatever you want the comment to be, and that'll show up for every single trip plan. Report items, the template, which you notice mine showed the full template. That's because I have it listed here as the full guide. If you know you only send to leisure travelers, you can click leisure, cruise, business, or the full guide. You can always edit it once you've added that template to the trip plan. I'm going to keep mine with full guide. Then you have the information that's added. So if you add the hotel as opposed to checking the check boxes, this is all the information that is going to be added. Email, this is the subject, which was able to be edited once you were sending that trip plan. So if you want your subject to be a certain thing or say something certain each time, simply change it here and hit save. I have the trip plans copied to me each time. So if I send it to a client, it'll also get sent to me as well. And then if you want the personal message and then a closing. Search, this is search preferences. So I search by star rating. So anytime I search for a hotel, or if I'm in a destination guide, it'll show me hotels that have the higher star rating first. So these are all just preferences that you have. So I'm going to go back to business card. And if you guys have any questions, please, like I said, feel free to take down my email and phone. I will say it's a little easier to get in touch with me via email. But I know some questions are a little bit easier said over phone. So totally up to you. And if you have any questions, please put it in the chat box or in the question and answer box. Let me see if I can get that pulled up. Yep. I'm going to go ahead and stop